And we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another fascinating episode of Just and Michael. I have a couple of really fun guests tonight. I have Gerald, Tara, Stache, and Jaime. How are you guys?
We're terrific.
Very good.
I'm great.
And just want to thank you for coming on. And I want to say hello to everybody in the chat. We have Liminal Lark and Deanne, and we have Richard. Big crowd tonight. So thank you for joining us. So what's new, guys? What's going on?
I'm having a hard cider called Dead and Buried, Berried. So how's that?
Sounds
Coffee.
good to me. I also have a coffee. I have my mushroom coffee and my favorite. I love cats. I love my cat mug. So
Mine is a zombie owl.
I often refer to this as my coffee trough because it's literally like a gallon of coffee, which is, usually what I need in the morning.
Yeah.
So we have a couple of people who just entered. We have Kristen Louise, and we have Robin from Toadstool Tarot. Hello, Robin.
And the notification just went out.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. So we're obviously here to... Oh, this is so weird. I'm having such computer problems today. I just get these weird notifications. So bear with me, guys, because I had a little bit of a technical issue before I came on, but hopefully it'll be okay. So
Yeah.
Hi, Zane. Yeah, I'm fine.
Hey, Zane.
So we are here to talk about our favorite decks that we've purchased in the spring. And it doesn't matter whether it's originated in the springtime or came out in the springtime. It's just decks that we've acquired in the springtime. I kind of did like late winter as well. So yeah, I'm really excited to talk about this. I guess what we can do is, I'll start off, and then we'll each go by a deck, and we'll take turns, and we'll kind of go that way. So let's see.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. So the first one I pick is actually one that you recommended to me, Jaime, or that I saw from you. It's the Lazy Crow Tarot.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you seen this, Gerald?
I may have seen it, but I do not own it.
It's really, really nice. I don't know much about the creator, Nicholas Crago.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say he's from the Pacific Northwest or like your area, right?
I think
Jaime?
so. I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
But the card quality was really, really nice. It's very linen, like playing card type quality. And it just has this really, really nice feel to it. And let me show you some of the images here because they're very like geometric. They're not in any particular order because I have been reading with them. But for instance, there's the wheel. And that's upside down. The Wheel of Fortune.
Pick your card out.
Yeah, seriously. And here's Death. So it's a really, really cool looking deck. Let me show you some of the pips as well. And it's very Rider-Waite-Smith, which is part of the reason I liked it. But it has like a different vibe to it,
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's my deck numero uno. I guess, Jaime, you want to go next? Or?
Oh, sure. So I was hoping he was going to be here, but this is an out-of-print deck. It is the Tarot of the Dead. I did a trade with Alex from Lazy Genius for out-of-print to out-of-print. We didn't compare, value or anything like that because I was sending it to him anyway. He just decided that he wanted that fair trade,
Mm-hmm.
So there's the backs, which I think is really super pretty. But every card is skeletal, and she's just really pretty to me.
Mm-hmm.
Nice colors. I like this deck a lot. The thing that I like about the lazy.
Sorry, guys. I'm trying to.
I like the
this.
3 when we're close, Justin. I like us really lined up because
really
the
close
images
like
are
this.
bigger. Yeah,
Okay, good.
the
Very
images are
good.
larger.
I was trying to get her solo, but my computer's being so weird today. I can't get it into the right setting, so I'm just going to leave it alone.
That's okay. So there's Alex. So anyway,
Hey, Alex.
This deck is pretty cool. It's really pretty in color. Alex and I have a little bit of the same art taste, if you will. He might be a little bit more avant-garde than I am, but this is a very Pip style deck. Definitely not Marseille, but definitely Pip.
Yeah. Oh wow, I like that. So what are they, like pistols for the suit of swords? Wow, that's really cool.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Just and here's the ace. Oh, I have to get used to being in the middle.
Yeah.
There, it focused. Yay.
There you go.
And now it's not going to focus on me, which will be funny. But and then that's pentacles. They look like film reels to me.
Yeah. And what's the name of this again, please?
Tarot of the Dead. Tarot de los Muertos.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen that deck. I always get it confused with the other one. There's another one that's by Lo Scarabeo. Yeah.
There are a lot. This one, so if I had a beef to pick for some kind of a deck like this, I wish it was even comparable to the Lazy Crow in the finish. But this still shuffles like a dream. It's just no fancy finish, no, anyway.
Yeah. That's really cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Alex said, glad you like it, Jaime.
Oh, yeah. He knows I like it.
So, yeah. So, cool.
Very cool.
All right, Gerald.
So yeah, let's take a look at what Gerald has for us.
So I have recently been given some gifts, and I appreciate them. And someone sent me a copy of the RWS 2.0, the one where this is the back. And so I think this is the second RWS that I have. So I don't have a whole lot of them, but the bright colors are quite a bit of fun. And it's pretty standard. I'm going to jump ahead so that we can see. So this is something that a lot of people probably know about, and I didn't, and I had an opportunity and I said yes. So
if Robin is here, he leapt out of his chair because he loves this deck. That's one of his favorites of all time, and which I think Robin is here.
He is. And
so
Sandra's
can I
here,
share?
So
can I show you guys something when Gerald's done?
Sure, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. So it looks like yes, and Robin said, "Oh, Gerald, my favorite." So and the lovely Sandra joined.
Yay.
And Chris Yao. So yep, there you go. So
I like
ahead,
that Page
Jaime.
of Wands.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. No, I like the coloration. Yeah, there's Robin. My favorite.
My chat is being so weird, but
yeah,
okay.
it's bizarre.
You gotta bear with me. It's
so Alex mentioned that he got that shirt in the mail. So I sent him, this is purple, it looks blue, but he and I were having a conversation, and this is kind of what came out of the conversation. And so I had shirts made.
Oh my gosh, that's fun. Love people and talk shit.
The cards don't lie.
Yeah. So
that's something that Joey would like.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
There you go.
All right, I'm done. Oh, that's pretty. That's a nice pouch.
Yeah, I got a nice pouch with it too, and there were some other things in there. So people will have to tune into maybe a future live that I do as the Hermit Mage. where I show some people stuff I have. So
yeah,
yeah.
you show yours. You know?
Yes, I'll show you mine if you show me yours. You know,
Absolutely.
Stay tuned.
Excellent. So this is a deck that actually I just got in the last couple of weeks. It was gifted to me by a lovely friend, and who shall remain nameless because I don't, have their permission and I don't see them here to say who it's from. But it is the Black Power Tarot, and I'm just really happy to have this in my collection because, for one, it's just an amazingly historic deck. It's a majors only, but it's it's a historic deck. It was Joe Dorowski and King Khan, who is a Canadian rap artist or music artist of some sort, and they collaborated and they came up with a Tarot de Marseille that features prominent African Americans, and so. For me, I think this is really just a wonderful deck, and it's got a really lovely feel. First off, it's only 22 cards, but it's pretty thick, for just 22 cards.
Mm-hmm.
And they just have an amazing feel to it, and the backs are really, really cool.
The backs are very pretty.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it has people like Richard Pryor, for instance, in it. And I'm a huge Richard Pryor fan. I think he's one of the funniest comedians ever. And let's see, I have them written down who they are, so I can just tell you because I'm not familiar with. Okay, so the magician is Black Herman. So some of them I'm really familiar with, and some of them I'm not. But that's one of the things I liked about it. So this is Marie Laveau. She is the illustrious kind of mystic from New Orleans. And one of the things I thought was great about it is that I could learn a lot about Black history with this deck, So it's kind of like a very much a cultural learning deck. Plus, it's really nice to see a deck with African Americans in the Tarot de Marseille style because, it's something that has been, of course, lacking because of obvious reasons,
Right. I would own that deck. I would like to see it expanded to the full 78.
Yes.
Right.
I think it'd be beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because, as you know, I was looking to show off my majors only collection. I've been trying to do that for some time. And it's
I failed. We failed you.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah,
no, I asked
But Justin, here's the thing. Every tarot deck can be a majors only if you take out all the minor.
That's
very true. And Chris Kelly said the same exact thing to me. So he was like, I have 77 of them, which is like really true. I mean, of course, but I do buy majors only because, it's something that I very rarely go out to kind of seek specifically a majors only. It actually sort of has to be kind of special to me, because a lot of some of my favorite decks are majors onlys. But usually it has to have some sort of specific purpose, or it wasn't available in the full 78. Because of course I would, like to have it in the full 78. But I definitely will buy a majors only. Let me show you a couple of more. So this is Little Richard on the Chariot.
Oh my!
I like that.
It's a beautiful deck.
Happy.
Yes,
the colors are really pretty.
James Brown and the Lovers. So I mean, it was a nice gift from a great friend, and plus it's a nice deck to have. So let's see who the Hermit is. I'm not sure who the Hermit is. Philip Cochran. So yeah, that is my number 2.
Woo woo, cool.
All right. So
my next one, it's funny because Benabel posted on her Instagram about this deck, and then Eric, who's the creator of it, was on there, and I didn't see him on there, but I told her that I had edged mine in a chocolate brown, and I was really super happy with it. And he actually commented back this morning. He says, "That's great, Jamie." He says, "I was actually thinking about issuing this deck with a special black edging." So it is the Ink Witch. And if you look at this, it's kind of a coffee color, right? So I did it and a chocolate brown.
Oh, uh-huh.
And there is some feathering, but because of the colorations of the card, it doesn't bother me. But this is my favorite card. Can you imagine why?
I know why. Sip, sip.
Yeah.
Sip,
Oh,
sip.
sip.
That's
Yeah.
right. So this is the Hanged Man.
Wow. What is this called once again?
The Ink Witch.
Okay. That's something I've been drawn to lately, the pen and ink decks, you know?
Yeah, the only critique I would have of this deck is that some of the images are very sharp and some of them are not. They look a little fuzzy, and I don't like that. It's kind of like pixelation. I want everything to be sharp.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had
This
similar
is a
problems
pretty
with some decks recently. Oh,
This
that is pretty.
this deck, Jaime, that you're sharing is getting lots of comments. People they're really liking it. Different images.
Yeah, it's the Emperor and the Empress are very similar, just different style of crown in the hand. There are a lot of people that have picked up on it online and have purchased it. And there's the High Priestess, which I think is a neat take, actually.
Oh, yeah. That's that. Okay. The more you look at it, the more you go, okay, I see the similarities too.
So it's a Barnell.
Yeah.
With the key.
Really cool.
And yeah, it is. It's really neat. Those are the backs, just like the box. If I could get my camera to focus for you, you could see the feathering at the edges and stuff. But like I said, it doesn't really bother me.
Is this like an indie deck, or is this something? I mean, obviously it looks indie. Okay.
It's
is it
indie.
still
You
available?
can get it. Yeah, it's on Etsy.
Okay.
He has a shop. But yeah, cool. I think this is a nice one. And I'm going to show you one more that I really like. I like that card.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's
Beautiful.
the Ink Witch tarot deck.
That's really great. And
I want to say his last name is French, but I'm not sure. But his first name is Eric. Last name is, I want to say Maille, Maille, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
Cool.
Justin, did you see Kristen Louise Terry's message?
I did, in fact. So, Kristen, let's go. Okay, so first off, it's not a stupid question. It's a common question, I think, because people often don't really read with majors onlys. You know, most people today prefer the full 78, but actually, you know, like if you look at the Oswald Wirth and even A. Waite to some extent, at one point in the early occult tarot, the major arcana was sort of the tarot deck, and the pips were kind of discarded. And it wasn't until like Eudes Picard, really, which was like early 1900, that they started integrating the pips with like symbolic meaning. But initially, you know, the majors, first off, those people didn't even really divine as we do today. It was mostly like spiritual learning and spiritual development. But, you know, of course, you have decks like the Rider-Waite-Smith and Thoth and all came along and sort of, and then people like Rachel Pollack wrote great books and, you know, made tarot all about reading the cards. So, you know, it changed. But for me personally, I like a majors only, really for a specific purpose. There's a spread called the Four Winds, which is great, that I use, which is an elemental spread. So you have sort of a cross position. And what you do is you lay out 4 cards, and each card corresponds to an element. And then you take all the majors and you add them up numerologically, and you come up with, you know, another major arcana. And then you put that card in the center. So then you have 5 cards to work with. That's like represents like the core issue. I find that, you know, when you're using major arcana cards, it's dealing with like major themes and archetypes in your life instead of like specifics, it kind of reads like an oracle almost for me. You know, it's like very general, but powerful archetypes, I find.
Yeah. I use a majors only when I'm doing, I couple it with charm casting. So I will cast on usually 3 to 4 majors, depending on what I'm doing. But that's how I use a major deck, is with casting.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Gerald?
About the majors only, I only have one majors only deck, and I got it for collection purposes. And,
but do you read it all with just majors?
I don't.
Ever?
I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I have not.
Okay.
Doesn't mean I won't, but
right.
Especially because recently there's been some chat. I think maybe Robin mentioned it about how people think that the majors only are the significant things in life, but they can also relate to the everyday. It just depends upon how we put it together.
Yeah.
So, but I've not done that yet.
Yeah. So. And of course, the Tarot de Marseille people, there's a specific, like Camellia Elias, and there are certain groups of Marseille enthusiasts that only read with majors only, and they are very visual style readers. They'll look at they'll look at the cards visually. They don't really look at archetypes and symbolism so much. So I mean, it all depends on who you are, really, and how you read.
Yeah.
And as we all know, there's no wrong way to read a tarot card.
Nope.
That's right. That's right.
So yeah, Chris was saying, Chris Yao was saying, Chris and I usually do a 3-card reading with majors. I do visual readings, looking at them as a whole scene together. Yes, so exactly. Chris is the quintessential Marseille visual reader.
He's the magic man.
Yes, he is. Definitely is.
I love him.
There you go.
Yeah, having Chris Yao in your life is like having your own wizard, you know?
Oh, gosh.
Like sometimes you have to consult a wizard, and I just, it's nice to have Chris Yao.
There you go.
Okay, so I guess we're now with Gerald, right?
Yep. I was also gifted the Witch's Wisdom Tarot.
Nice.
Which is by Phyllis Arcana and Danielle Barlow. I like to give credit to the artist. And this is, first of all, it's a little larger, but it's a borderless, which is, I'm always fascinated with a borderless deck. And the images for me are very, very striking. So
one of my favorites.
Yeah, so I was gifted that, and I was just like, thank you for thinking of me. This is just amazing. So
there's a video out. There's a video out on YouTube with the publisher and the creator of that deck that makes that deck even that much more interesting to me. So
yeah.
Okay, I'll have to look into that.
So yeah, it's just it's freaky beautiful.
Yeah, that moon card is stunning.
Yeah. It's like, wow. So, and so this is here are the backs. It has made me extremely happy. So pay no attention to the Chris Yao behind the curtain.
That's funny.
It comes with a very nice guidebook, and it came with a nice bag.
Yeah.
So.
And yes, Mr. Yao, that is exactly what that deck is.
And guess what? That price was not bad at all. Let's see, Mr. Yao.
No.
It was very mass market price, and it was very indie quality, I thought. It was a really good bargain, which is why I got it. I have yet to kind of work with it. It's something that I'll have to dedicate time to because it seems like a system on its own. I can't find that comment, though.
And yeah, and Chris, I would say that, yes, you do need it. I would agree.
Yeah, Chris, you would like that deck. It's definitely up your alley for sure.
Oh, and there's Neem.
There's Neem. Neem.
Neem was threatening me this morning.
Uh-oh.
What? She was threatening you?
Yeah, 78 card pickup.
Oh,
don't mess with the
that's
Leo.
dangerous.
Don't mess with the Leos. I've learned that.
Yeah, don't mess with the Taurus either, baby.
Well, and I'm just like going,
you got that right.
Don't mess with Neem or Jaime, especially when they've not had coffee.
Oh,
okay, fair enough.
True, very true. Sip, sip.
Yeah.
So, my next
and
deck.
a coffee snatch. Sorry, she was gonna steal my coffee as she threw the cards at me.
Wow.
Yeah, she was a little.
Sounds like she was in your. Sounds like she was in your living room though. The way you're. The
I know, right?
Sound. You know what I mean?
Well, she kind of was.
Yeah, very true.
Awesome.
Very, very true. So this is actually a deck I have here that I was really excited for because one of my things was that I really love the Oswald Worth deck, especially the golden version. I like them both. They both have their place, the colorful version and the golden version. But the US Games version with the full deck, when they just sort of put Marseille pips, I didn't hate the deck. I didn't really dislike the deck. I just thought that there was so much more potential. And then you had the Universal Worth Tarot, which came out, which was, it was Eudes Picard pips and based on the Oswald Worth, but looked nothing like the Oswald Worth. And it was always interesting to me that they, refer to it as the Universal Worth Tarot, because it just didn't make sense. So I thought one thing that was lacking was a great Oswald Worth deck with 78 cards, and this deck I felt was just on the money with it. So I pre-ordered this, and it doesn't come out in the United States until June. These are some of the pips.
Oh, that's pretty.
But I was able to get it from Book Depository, so it is available in Book Depository if you're interested in this deck. And I learned that from Robin, thanks to Robin, who I have no idea where he gets his information from, but usually Robin knows if a deck is available, he knows where to get it. These are some cards.
And mine will be delivered in June because I wanted to delay gratification, and so I got it through. It'll come out in June.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was able to cancel my order, luckily, because it wasn't shipped yet. I'll show you a few more pips. The interesting thing is, for people who aren't familiar with this deck, so you have the Two of Wands here, but then you have a sort of the keys from the High Priestess. So you have elements of, then that's what they did. They took, they based, the question is like, how do you come up with, minors in a deck that was majors only, And so I thought it was just really clever the way they did it. Showing you random cards here. And the gold looks phenomenal. I mean, it looks phenomenal. These are the backs. And it's, classic low Scarabeo quality. So I'm just very happy with this deck. I use it a lot. And it's easily one of my favorite decks ever, actually.
That's cool. I'm looking forward to it because that was one I think I watched Robin's walkthrough of it, and finding the images in the other cards from the major. That's the sort of thing that really intrigues me. It makes me go, ooh, somebody was thinking. So, but yeah.
Chrissy, I am so jonesing for the Golden Visconti by Lo Scarabeo. Yeah. That I actually I might actually show you. I have a Visconti deck I might show you later on.
All right,
Ms. Jaime.
Okay. So this one won't surprise most, but the Tildwick, second edition, copper. Look at that. Oh.
Yeah.
So the only copper edge deck I have. This is a deck that there is no little white book. We don't know what Neil Lovell, the creator, was thinking. He passed away in 2018, but the Secret Garden is like a favorite book of mine, and that's what this reminds me of, because, and it won't focus and it will not do justice, but that's the Fool, the Magician,
I can see well. I mean, I can see it pretty good.
Can you? Good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High Priestess. I just, I don't know. Look at her. It's
Wow.
Justice. Kelly Fitzgerald and I were talking, what the biggest concern for both of us is whether or not you could read it with our eyesight, right? Because you take my glasses off and I'm pretty blind. And this is not a low light reader. If I were sitting in the room that I have my fairy lights on and I just have this desk light over here, unless it's right under the spotlight, this would not be something that I would just drag out. I mean, like this card,
Yeah.
To get the detail, you need it in good lighting.
Yeah.
And as far as I can tell, the first edition was a little bit lighter. But I mean,
very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and one more. This is the Knight of Cups.
I
so it's around
ordered that.
Yeah, and it's an English estate, and it's inside and outside, but mostly inside. But here, this is one of the intriguing things. So, and of course, it won't. On the birdcage itself, you can see the Marseille style swords.
Yeah.
On the little emblem, and in here and in the window. Can you see that? The center window. I really like that. And also on the wall for this card, I don't know if it'll show up, but I really like the use of that. But all of the symbolism, and here's the 10.
Wow.
I just think it's beautiful. So that's my
I get the feeling with this deck, like the same sort of feeling I got with the Marielle, which is, I have it here, but just when I first looked at it, I was like, I don't know what all the fuss is about, but so many people are so excited about this deck. It's like the same thing with the Marielle. I got the Marielle and I was like, I just don't get it. But I got it because I was like, there's something I'm not saying about this deck. There's something that there's some value to this that's just more nuanced and I'm just not picking up. So I ordered this, and there was probably a little FOMO mixed into that as well.
Well, here's a funny story. So Jonathan sent me a link. He's like, oh, this deck and blah blah blah, and I was like, and then he said he wanted to get this other one, and I'm like, well, looking at the two, I would get the other one. I wouldn't waste my time on this one, which happened to be the Tildwick, right? And then I'm sitting there and I'm watching Sedana, and she's doing a walkthrough, and it's a very intensive walkthrough. And I went, oh my God, I was wrong. I had to send him a text and say, dude, I was so wrong. I take it all back. I take it all back. And I went and, ended up getting it. But yeah, no. And Alex said, I might be the only person that doesn't like this deck, and Kristen doesn't like it either. You guys aren't alone. There are a lot of people that actually don't care for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that I'm looking forward to it is it really sets an environment. It
That's
is a
what I
very
like.
distinctive, I think the term is place. You know where this is. And I can see using that because sometimes when I read, I like to mix it up, and I could see, okay, here are the different rooms that somebody's dealing with. And then lay a different deck out with what's going on in those rooms. So
there are a lot of creative ways for sure. Yeah. For me, it'll be Ancestor, and like Chris Yao said, rooms of an estate, etc. Well, the rooms of your past, right, or the rooms of your ancestors' past, that kind of thing.
That's interesting. Yeah. I
Chris
just got my
says,
notification that it's being shipped. So
Nice.
Good. Yeah, so Chris says, I think that the Tildwick will feel like walking through the rooms of an estate and grounds and garden. It would be neat to cast onto.
Absolutely.
yeah,
I
yeah.
agree 100%. I have my casting board, and yep.
Cool. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
going to give it a chance. I'm gonna spend some time with it and actually look at it when the time is right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I was recently gifted the Revelations Tarot by Zach Wong, and I don't read reversals. Here's the back. I don't read reversals, but when you look at this deck, it is actually set up to where you could, the image is different. And it's like, holy crap. I was showing this to one of my good friends, and he doesn't read reversals, but it's like, holy mackerel. And this might be one that I actually do the reversals. And especially because, like, looking at the Nine of Cups, looking at that way, it feels like one thing, but looking at it that way, it's like, oh. So I think the artist has really done a phenomenal job of making taking the meanings and visually creating within a whole image a layer of meaning. So this probably will be the deck that I start that I do reversals, and because I was looking at like the Nine of Swords, is a card, but that way and then this way, the message is there. It's different, and for me, it works. So
yeah.
And in 10, it's like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
What's the cardstock like?
Cardstock is pretty good. It's a bit glossy, but not horrible. And
is it a Llewellyn deck? I forget. Yeah, please.
It is a Llewellyn. It's a Llewellyn deck. So
yeah.
And
but as I recall, the cardstock was better than typical Llewellyn, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it came out in let's see, it's a first edition, and the 11th printing was in 2018. So 2005 is when it was is when the companion book was released. So.
And Jonathan says that Los Scarabeo is coming out with a similar deck, the Tarot of Opposites.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Interesting. I would find that helpful, to have a double-sided kind of card, with different aspects.
Yeah. I think it'd be fun.
Yep.
Okay, so the next, I'm just trying to decide on what I want to show. You know what? I'm going to show you this one because it didn't come out in the spring. This is an old classic, but I want to show this because I actually took a workshop with Rachel Pollack, and she brought up Brian Williams, and this is the Renaissance Tarot by Brian Williams. It was Gods and Goddesses of the Tarot, so we were talking about deities in tarot and things. And she had mentioned this deck, and then I looked it up because I have the Ship of Fools by Brian Williams. And I also have another deck, Tarot of Shadow and Light, I think it's called, which I love. I love that deck. It's a black and white, sort of black line only deck. And I just find it really cerebral kind of deck, like very good for like shadow work and things like that, like using it to spark memories and really digging deep in your unconscious. It's a great deck, I personally find. So I gave this a look, and I was like, because I like old style art and so forth. And I didn't have this one. And I looked at it, and I was like, wow, this is really incredible. So I don't know if you've heard of this or if you've seen this around. So what's interesting is, here's a Major Arcana card, for instance. Now you have very classic kind of Renaissance art, but what's interesting is in the top left and right hand corners, you have corresponding sort of deities to match the energy. And the book is very helpful, because I don't know them all by heart. Just the ones I know, like for instance, the Tower. So we have the Tower card here, and the corresponding deities up top are let's see if I can remember. The son of Helios. What was his name? Phaethon. Phaethon, he stole the chariot from Helios, and then he crashed it. Actually, Zeus blew him out of the sky as punishment, and killed him. And the story is that he crashed and created this massive desert and somewhere in Greece. And the other person is the one who flew too close to the sun, and they were locked in the tower, him and his father, and they made feathers out of candle wax, and then they flew out of the tower, but his son got like cocky and flew too high, right? And the sun melted the wax feathers, and he died. So both sins of Icarus, yes, Icarus. Okay. Yeah, I can remember the story, I just couldn't remember the name. But Icarus, both sins of pride, you know what I mean, and ego. Really
I want you to know, Justin, that Gerald and I are both being very, very good and very respectful.
Oh, why would you do such a thing?
Because I would have totally been naughty with the strength card, and it's like a well-placed lion head. Way to go!
Why would you behave on my channel though? Like, what am I, a nun or something?
Well,
Sister Mary Clarence here. Jeez,
Sister Mary Clarence. Well, I mean,
fits Mary Clarence.
Yeah. Oh,
come on, Gerald. You want to make a comment on that?
I mean, people can be into furries if they want. Justin, did you just go meow?
He did.
Yeah,
wow. Wow.
Show my evil side here, my naughty side.
My goodness.
Very cool deck. Anyway,
it's very pretty coloration.
Yeah, and pips too. Very, very much pips, but they're they're fully illustrated, but pippish. You know what I mean? It's like that, sort of like the what's that deck that I always I can't even think of it. The Dame Fortune's Wheel, something like that. Like it's not traditional pips, Rider-Waite Smith pips, but it's got that pippish
That's
energy.
Pretty though.
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
Very.
And what was the name of this deck, Justin?
It's called the Renaissance Tarot. Yeah.
The Renaissance Tarot.
It's a low Scarabeo deck. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. U.S. Games. I apologize.
U.S. Games. Richie Longman Tarot said, "I'm saying nothing," and it's probably because he's laying in bed on a specific duvet that I have no idea what that's about. Sister Justin Eloise. Oh wow.
Well, Eloise is Steven's nickname for me, which is a little secret. I might as well.
Not a
he
secret
calls me
anymore.
that just to be. No, Justin Eloise Parker. That's my name. Yeah.
Nice. Well, it's better than my nickname
So
I got
macho.
the other day. So keep your sister name, will ya?
Yeah, exactly. That's funny. He sometimes calls me Justin Marie too, which is like because everybody in my family's middle name is Marie. You know what I mean? Well, my sister's first name is Marie, but like I have a cousin Tina Marie, Shayna Marie. Everybody's middle name is Marie. So, will call me that like if I'm acting like a little like bitchy or something.
So wait a minute, you're related to Tina Marie?
No, not the Tina Marie. I am related to Tina Marie, just not that Tina Marie.
Just not that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's funny. My next?
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
Whoever wants to go.
Okay. I have no idea how to pronounce the name of this deck, so I'm not going to really try. There is a dog version and a cat version. Phyllis Arcana, I think.
Oh.
What it is. The box is beautiful.
I'm glad you brought this deck up, Jaime, because I forgot all about that deck.
Beautiful silver.
Silver edging.
Beautiful starback.
Yeah.
But like I said, this is the cat version. and I think that it is super duper well done. The drawings are amazing. The card stock is just scrumptious to me anyway. Definitely quality.
Yes.
You know how, Justin, we bitch about how indie or Kickstarter decks have kind of gone, a little south when it comes to quality. This is an Etsy deck, and I don't know if it was ever Kickstarter or not, but there's, like I said, a dog version. And if I had known about it, I would have gotten it. But it's just super, super, super duper. Trying to find, let's see, hang on. Oh, I like this little guy.
Yeah, the artwork is stunning in this.
Oh,
it's so...
Yeah. Here's this beautiful card. Ace of Cups. But yeah,
I was thrilled with that deck when I got it.
Yeah, I have no complaints. I really don't. I would have been okay if it had strayed from the Rider Waite and gone a little bit, but it's super. Yeah, so
that's lovely. Yeah, but aren't you supposed to, Justin? I mean, if you're not wearing a unitard, you're not really doing tarot correctly, right? Is that?
I guess. I don't know.
Was that the right thing? I don't remember.
I don't either. Yeah, Jessie Driscoll told me about that deck. She messaged me right around New Year's. I think I got that back in January, which is why I didn't really think about it.
I just got it.
Yeah. But she was like, "You're gonna love this deck because I love my cats and all." And I was like, I'm a little strange when it comes to black and white decks because normally, like, I just love color, But some of my favorite decks are black and white decks, so it depends. It really all depends. But that one was just quality wise, the art was just really phenomenal. But some of the best card quality, I would say that's very close to the new choice quality. It's got that really matte finish and beautiful gilding.
So one of the decks that I recently got is the Tarot Rama. And so this is available on Etsy, and this is the back. So for those of you who are of a delicate nature, which is probably everybody, this is not your deck. So here's the deck. There's the Magician card. There's the
High Priestess.
There's the Magician. There's the High Priestess. All that stuff. So, but I think the Empress could be okay. So,
feel free and show those. I mean, I don't care. Nudity alert, and then show them.
Nudity alert. So the Lovers. The Chariot. Strength. There we are, back to Strength. Here's the Fool. So Chris, Elemental Cartomancy, did a walkthrough, and the minors are a little interesting. So it's like underwear and socks and panties, and so those are the cups.
That word.
What word? Panties?
Yeah. Yes, that one.
Antoinette, no, I do not own a unitard. Not to my knowledge.
You should fix that. So,
yeah. We can fix it, I mean, we can fix that. I know where Justin lives. So.
Right.
So anyhow, that's the there's the the Tarot Rama. So there you go.
It's funny on not Kickstarter, TikTok. They're actually like giving people a lot of I think they're not banning accounts, but they're suspending accounts of tarot readers who are showing even Rider-Waite-Smith images. They actually have to cover the nudity on the Rider-Waite-Smith, which to me is very ridiculous because, I mean, growing up, in Philadelphia, walking around, there's statues of naked people everywhere.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's a certain kind of liberty that comes with art, and I feel like people just need to relax.
At some point, you're responsible for self-censoring, and if you're offended by nudity, then you really should pay attention to what the subject matter is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
But something drawn in an artistic way, I find, I feel like most of us, I think, learn at an early age that, a lot of the classic art was drawn with nudity, and nudity is a beautiful thing and to be celebrated, not something to be ashamed of. Yeah.
I have a funny
one of my
story.
decks is a nudie, but yeah, go ahead.
So I graduated with a bachelor's in fine arts, and I took my freshman year. I had to take an art history class, and one of the first class, the teacher showed us an image of the Venus of Willendorf, which is a beautiful sculpture out of stone, and she's like, "Tell me about this," and it was an 8 o'clock class, and freshman in college, nobody is awake at 8 o'clock. And I finally raised my hand, and she said, "Yes." And I said, "She's naked." And she actually looked at me and she said, "No, she's nude." And I went, "Okay, there's a difference. It's nude when it's art. It's naked when it's not art."
Good point.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I actually love the Venus of Willendorf, so it's a beautiful image. So anyhow, so there's my side story. There you go.
Nice. Yeah, I personally, I mean, there's a little common sense involved with stuff like that too. Like, you can tell what's pornographic type material and what's art, and there's a fine line, but some things, but
yeah.
And
I think I bought this deck mostly for collector purposes. I can't imagine what kind of readings I would do with it. I mean, so
I think you could have some fun with that deck, actually, probably.
I will let you know if that changes.
Yeah.
I can see being invited to a party and taking that. It's like,
So
try it out and let us know.
So Lucy says, when does it become porn? For me, it's about a taste level, and I guess what I would find the taste level would be different from everybody else, right? So you kind of have to find your own level, I guess. I guess if it's vulgar, in other words, there is no purpose, it's just vulgar.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I go with it. But yeah.
Yeah, and I actually don't think anything in here is pornographic, really.
They're funny.
They're funny, but
isn't that the target butt deck?
Yes, that is the target deck. That one might be, but
that one's a little. That one would be one where I would say, I don't really want to see that in a reading.
Yes.
But that's me.
Yeah, and Antoinette, I do not have the Los Scarabeo sex deck.
Yeah. And
I don't have that either.
Aspasia, she says, there's a difference between pornography and erotica. Absolutely. I would say that the deck that I'm going to show a couple down is more on the erotica versus pornographic. I would agree 100%.
Yeah. So anyhow, there you go.
There you go.
Very cool.
Come on, sister.
All right, sister. Yeah. I guess I'm going to show, I've already showed this already, but, the Alchemical Tarot Marseille by Robert M. Place. I really enjoyed this deck. I thought it was...
Mine's over there. We all three have it. Yeah.
All three of us have it. It's like, yes, it's within arm's reach.
I love the pips, how colorful the pips are, and they're nice and big. So, and I also got his, the distilled version of the Alchemical Tarot recently. What's that one called? The Magnum Opus, I think.
I believe that is the correct. Yes.
Yeah. And I like the majors, with the, the writing on there,
if I could go back in time, man, I would swoop that man up.
Ooh. Well, wasn't it funny when I had him on my channel and I told him that you had a crush on him?
He got all
You made him blush.
pink. I know,
Yeah.
but it's true.
I was like, Robert, I just want to tell you, my friend Jaime has an absolute crush on you. He literally turned red. He loved it.
Oh, it was just delightful.
And there he is, the self-portrait. And that's the funny thing about Robert in place decks.
Mhm.
There's always
Always. Yeah.
him in the deck, So it's very, very cool deck. And the quality is great. It's got this nice gilding. They're not real thick cards.
They
They're
shuffle
real.
well.
Yes, they shuffle brilliantly, but they're very matte and very good kind of playing card stock, with a nice snap to it. And of course, his boxes are delightful. And they're getting better because initially when I got the Alchemical Tarot,
they were too tight.
Too tight. Yeah, and he was aware of that. And so they've fixed that. So anybody who's curious about that, they've, at least my decks have seen to improve. So very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, his Lenormand came that way too. The oh shoot, it's not within reach, but it's, I want to say it's Japanese, but it's beautiful, and it came in a red box, and that box is too loose, so it's like, give me a happy medium.
Yeah. I mean, isn't it interesting that, I don't think it's interesting, but I do value an appropriately constructed box for a deck.
Yeah.
That's a part of it for me.
Yeah.
So.
Well, his decks are a perfect example of good quality for the price because, it's like what we were talking about with Kickstarter decks. You're getting these paying, $60, $70, $80 for a deck, and you're getting like very mass market quality. But then you go on Robert's site and you pay $40, $50 for a deck, and you get like a wooden box, cards with really high quality matte card stock, gilding. It's like you can do it for the right price. So,
Yeah, I'm a geek about that. I think I bought the Brady Tarot because it came in a wooden box.
Yeah.
I got all geeky about it. It's like,
yeah, I missed out on the first edition, but that was something that I really love. I love that deck so much. I have a very special place for that deck. And the second edition, the box was okay, but the wooden box was really pretty.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was a gift to me, so I'm lucky. I gave my second edition Brady to Apprentice Jacob, and I was gifted the first edition, and I will keep that for the rest of my life. I love it.
Cool. Yeah, that's a deck I can never part with, and I think that's a deck that I have to always refer back to know what the rose petal finish is, because it has the rose petal. But because I always get it wrong, I cannot identify what the rose petal finish is.
So my next one is the Lux X Umbra.
Oh, cool.
I love this box. It came with a beautiful bag.
Ooh.
It also came with some really nice artwork. This is a Kickstarter. I have this really cute little petite gold bookmark that they sent too. But this is definitely one of those decks that Mindy would say, ugh.
Mindy always says that.
I know. I can shuffle this one, and she knows that I have really bad hands, but here's the back.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that beautiful? So I'm going to show you some of my favorites, okay?
Wow, that's really pretty.
And it goes with... Okay.
Oh, I love that.
Oh yeah, this card, it's almost in a sense like the Spacious, because you walk into it, right?
Yes.
So this is
definitely
my friend Kelly's birth card, the Chariot, and I love that. I love this Temperance card. I wish you guys could actually see the colors in person, because it's just beautiful.
Nice.
And if you notice, do you see the spider?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so in the Emperor, there's also a spider.
Oh.
This is one of my favorite.
La
Tower
Maison
card.
de.
It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice little book, nice little certificate of authenticity with the number. The only thing, and I've changed my mind because I had a discussion with Kelly about this, but the and then she did her walkthrough, and I kind of went back and forth, and the court cards are.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Okay. But I mean, what an opportunity to learn, right?
Yeah. Right.
You have the element, you have, the astrological. So, and they all match up in color theme, right? So, let's see. I mean, the cups are just glorious.
Wow.
But, and then there's the blue of the,
that's so pretty.
Mhm.
It's really, really pretty.
And this, here you go. Look at him.
We were talking about you, Mendy.
Yeah, we were. And
we were just saying you were a card quality snob, is what we were saying.
So how's this for strength?
That's incredible.
Think about that. This is a deep card. A deep card. I can't find what I was looking for was, let me see if I can sift through really fast. Talk amongst yourselves. I want to find, I should have been more prepared, but I did shuffle.
Oh, wow.
There's that one, but
that's
still
interesting.
looking for it. Yeah, it's fascinating. Oh yeah, that's another.
Yeah, it's like a positive spin on both. It's sort of positive-ish with the death card and the tower.
You see
Yeah,
that?
that's interesting.
Yeah. What exactly is it? And what am I looking at? Because I'm having a hard time.
So it's
the Emperor, but
the Emperor. It's the diamond, the hard diamond, and then there's the spider on the top with the fangs. It matches up to the Empress. But this is another favorite card.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Yeah,
just
that's really cool.
Yeah, just a different take. But I would say that they did a super job in what they chose. I mean, the pentacles are really super pretty too.
Oh, nice.
But they all follow a theme, in color.
I like a deck that gives a different perspective, though. It adds something. It adds some kind of value to.
Oh, here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just. Yeah, like I said, I'm fine with the deck, modeling itself, but I prefer that it go outside the norm, and have, and like I said, there's nothing wrong in any way, shape, or form wanting just a straight up Rider-Waite Smith, and Chris, yes, I would agree. It is lovely and haunting for sure.
And Jaime, I could see where you could use that deck as a layer in a reading, because it does add a different depth of understanding. So,
oh yeah, this would definitely be one of those decks that you use in a multi-deck reading for sure. Yeah,
cool.
for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really pretty. What is it again? What is that called?
I always mess it up, so I'm just gonna open it back up because it is Lux X Umbra.
Oh yeah, Lux X Umbra. Right.
Cool. And Henry says, "Stop showing pretty cards already." Not possible.
I bought this Jonathan made me do the Super Lunaris.
Oh yeah.
And so, Jonathan, if you're listening, this was a deck that I got. And so, lovely back. And so, really potent images. And I love that. I mean, there's some variety in ethnicity. So, and it's like nice. So, but yeah, this is probably going to be one that I will. I mean, it's like, look at the 5 of wands. It's like,
what I like about that deck, Gerald, is that the diversity is not forced. It's natural. It represents, in my eyes, what the world should be. Everybody should be. I mean, it's not forced. It's not contrived. It's not like, oh, I'm going to fit in with the
like obligatory. It's like I'm doing it because I have to. To sell my decks. Like
Yeah, this one is just very. Very true to life, I think.
It's like you have the
melting
queen,
pot, right?
And then you have the king, and
it's beautiful.
So there's
I love that
beautiful
king.
variety.
Yeah.
And I am a huge fan that it's borderless. I like a borderless deck. And
I like the Emperor in that deck, Gerald.
Yes, and it has a lovely rose gold edging.
I agree with you, Nancy, completely.
You said the Empress or the Emperor?
Emperor.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love that Emperor.
Yep. Yep. It's
Super
amazing.
Lunaris, yeah, Chris. Yeah.
Yep. Super Lunaris.
Yeah. I hope you do.
Yeah, really, Jonathan.
Cool.
I really hope
you're
you
like
do.
the Regis of Tarot, The
Well,
Regis.
and I agree, Chris. They look normal. They look real. I mean, this is not somebody that you would see walking down the street and you'd want to cross the street. It's just they're regular. And of course, it came signed, so I'm extra geeky about that.
Yeah,
it's always nice when it's signed.
I like my copy of that. I don't know why I didn't think about it because it's right behind me. But yeah, Jonathan and I got ours at the same time, I think.
And I was probably soon after it because I think he was doing a live with it, and I think I bought it during the live.
I think so. Yeah.
It's like, okay, yep, got it.
Cool.
So.
Well, sort of in that realm, I did my first reading with this deck the other night, the Ancestral Path. So this is very new to me, and I think it was Alex's Lazy Genius, his live, and it was like a deck that a lot of people already had, but it's something I've heard of, but I just wasn't really familiar with it, and I did a reading with it the first ever. And I just said, I asked the question, shuffled the cards, and I said, what do my ancestors have to tell me? And I drew 3 cards, and I drew, let me see if they're handy. I don't know if they're going to be handy or not. Probably not. Beautiful cards, though. So those are the backs. They're a bit big. But the cards that I got were, it was an older woman with a child, and the King of Wands. And I thought, well, like they were the perfect cards because the woman, let me try and find that card. The woman on the card looked like one of the women who raised me, Katie, who just passed away last year.
Oh, wow.
And she took care of the babies in our family like for the last 50 years. She was my grandmother's neighbor. She's not really a blood relative, but she became a second mother to me. In the late 70s, my sister was born. She had really taken a liking to my sister, and she was just around all the time. I'm trying to find the card, and she ended up moving in with us. Okay. So she took care of every baby in my family, and she was a woman who never got married, was older, very Italian, and so that was a nice thing. And yeah, and then I got this one, and I just thought, well, it's my dad and Katie, and I forget what the other card was, but it was so synchronistic because she looks like, out of all the cards, like she looks most like Katie, and
awesome.
Katie was always around babies, like loved babies, took care of babies.
Mhm.
So it's just a really powerful deck, and
Yeah,
I just love the images.
I have the first edition, and it's next to my bed. That's where it sits, is on the nightstand. But yeah, the first edition is much smaller than the new one.
It is? Okay. I
Oh
was just
gosh,
curious.
yeah. It's like this big, Justin.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's small. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful diversity, and again, very genuine. I think would be
super genuine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that like tarot and art in general a lot of times comes down to genuine. People can sense that kind of genuineness,
Yeah, it's like my Weaver's Oracle. That feels very true to life as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I pair those two together, the Ancestral Path and the Weaver's Oracle.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. Not sure which card he was talking about.
Susie said there is a Superlunaris Lenormand coming out.
I'll get it.
Okay.
So.
I'll get it. And yeah, Jonathan mentioned that the Superlunaris was, he backed it on Kickstarter, and so did I. Yeah. So my next deck is in here.
What?
Yeah.
Is that a Kelly Bear pouch?
It is.
Okay.
It sure is. Yep. And the charm is a little bird. I just like the color. So,
hey, that's awesome.
Yeah. So it goes well with the deck. So there's the backs.
Oh gosh, I love those backs.
Yeah, this deck, I have to say he's probably one of the most talented, and he's a tattoo artist too, but he's probably one of the most talented artists. His art is just, I don't know, bar none. I'm sorry, my hands are covering up most of it, but I mean, look at that. You know, and this is one of the ones that you could look at as slightly erotic in some of the cards.
The quality looks amazing on that.
Oh,
actually.
The quality is linen. It's super. This is one of those decks that if you're not holding on to it, it's going to go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Queen of Cups.
Something about that for me, like when you're holding a really high quality deck, the way they shuffle and the way they feel, to me that brings a lot to a deck,
Mm-hmm.
I think
he does really beautiful faces, and body posture.
Looks a little Robert M. Place-ish, actually. A little bit.
Ish.
Yeah.
I mean, especially here, yeah. But yeah, I agree, Selkie. He does body positioning well, which I think a lot of people miss the mark on, but the coloration does not do, it's not justice on this camera because it's...
How do you pronounce the title again?
Fideli Pavlov.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
These are the ones that he's releasing 100 at a time on his website. And they're gone. What'd you say, in like 30 seconds or something like that?
3 minutes. 3 minutes, Alex told me. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, hopefully the next time he does it, it's not as fast.
I don't know, man. I have a feeling you're going to have to be sitting on it to get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is a deck that came out of nowhere, though. Like, for me, I didn't hear anything. Yeah, I didn't hear anything about it. I saw Jonathan show it, and Jonathan was really actually. Jonathan, I think, sent me pictures because we were having a conversation, and I was like, I didn't hear anything about this deck, and it's like one of the prettiest decks that I've seen in some time.
it came up for me in the Kickstarter stuff. I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. I mean, just
amazing.
Yeah,
Well, let's not tell anyone when the next one is, okay? Or we can lie and say it's Thursday, not
it's
Wednesday.
Thursday.
Yeah, it's Thursday. Oh my gosh. It's Thursday, I swear. You mean today's not Thursday? So
Yeah. Oh, and that's right. I forgot to say. And I don't know if they mentioned it in the chat. I just saw Alex's comment. Fidor said that it's been accepted by US Games and it'll come out in 2022 with
cool.
US Games. Mm-hmm.
That's good. Yeah, you want to get the indie copy though. You know what I mean?
Of course you do.
You know.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I think
agree.
sometimes the mass market isn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it is a risk that we take.
True.
So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I've been seeing a lot of mass market decks improving in quality, and the indie decks being not as nice as they once were.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, so it would be nice if mass market just caught up to doing excellence versus crap, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
Yeah, I feel like the mass market tarot was sort of stuck in the 90s and early 2000s, and it just takes them a while to adapt. And I think that the great renaissance of tarot we experienced in the last 5 years, I think that they're slowly but surely catching up. But they're, of course, all about money. And so, you know, as long as people are buying the decks, they're going to sell them, you know, but hopefully they catch on, you know?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be nice. So I have an Oracle deck that I have the 5 points Oracle deck. And this is one Chandler Dean.
Yeah.
You remember him, Justin, don't you?
I know who he is.
Do you, Justin?
He's a friend of mine. I do.
Okay.
I kid about Chandler, but he's actually become a friend of mine.
Good.
We're very friendly. He's a very nice person.
Yes, and I had Chandler and handsome. And I had Chandler and Zane on talking about creating a deck, but he just updated. He updated the 5 points Oracle to where it now it goes through, and he's added, I think, 16 more cards to it. And I have to do a flip through of that, where you get the female aspect of it rather than just the male. And his flip through or conversation about the 5 points Oracle deck, it's a lot of psychology, and I'm a big psychology person. And so it was I was excited to hear, and I got the option to see some of the images before he made or before he released it, and it's like awesome. So
I think we were talking that we wanted to have a sort of a chat on psychology and tarot, maybe like talk about Jung and tarot, or I've done that many times.
What?
But not
you
Jung.
Like Jung.
Not Jung.
I'm obsessed with Jung. I have a crush on Jung. So But
how many times have you read how many times have you read the book, the Red Book?
I've never read the Red Book. I've listened to the Red Book. The problem with so it depends on your definition of the Red Book, because the version of the Red Book that I own, which is the Reader's Edition, is not really the Red Book. Yeah, I don't own a real copy. I have seen it on the internet, the images. I've listened to it on Audible multiple times. His conversations with, he's basically, what he was doing was he was doing active imagination things, which is he was engaging the archetypes in his unconscious. And it's a brilliant book, and he didn't publish it for many, many years because he was afraid, they were actually, I think it just was published, like 10 years ago or something?
No, it was never supposed to be published. It was his family, Yeah,
they cashed in on it or whatever. But it would never came out in his lifetime. But I think it's a brilliant book. But what I was referring to is that the artwork in the book is crucial. And so I need to get myself a really good copy of it. But
because the reader's edition does not have no at all. But I suggest, sir, that you save your shekels.
Yeah.
I am. Get that damn book.
It's on my list, and I will get it.
Bump it
but
up.
I have all of his books. I have Ion, which I've read. Man in His Symbols.
I don't care.
You know, so.
Justin, just give in. Just say yes. You're right, Jamie.
I am.
It'll save time. I mean,
she is right. I agree 100%.
I want him to have it.
I want to get a nice big copy of it, like a really big book that's like $300 or something. You know. And so that's what stopped me, was the price of getting the real red book. But I do listen to it quite often on Audible, and I've listened to lectures and analyses and things like that. And
so I don't know if I know that Chris Yao and I talked about it. I want to say in Barely Balanced, but there is a young professor who you can hear her talk to the guy on Rune Soup, and you can look her up. She did her doctorate on comparing Jung's Red Book to Tolkien, who they were very good friends, and along with C.S. Lewis, but comparing the two Red Books. And to listen to her, Justin, holy cow, it's
I think I've heard her, actually. Is she an astrologer? Or is she... I might be thinking of something else. Not Rune Soup. Okay,
yeah, Becca Tarnas, Dr. Becca Tarnas, and her dad is a professor as well. Quite possibly, I don't know. I wouldn't have paid much attention to that aspect. Probably should have, but I think you would find it fascinating.
Yeah. There's so much on Jung, and there's like anything. I mean, Chris Yao and I were talking the other day, like in every single thing, whether it's tarot or magic or Carl Jung or anything, there's always a circle of bullshit that exists that you have to kind of pry your way through to get to the real good stuff, So it's like, you always have to, it's always a search. And, I found that very true with the Jungian stuff, because there are a lot of, Jung is used in so many different ways. He's highly quoted and stuff, but
sometimes misquoted. But yeah, so Chris Yao said her dad is a longtime astrologer. He has a couple of books. She grew up with it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And of course, Jung, his book Ion dealt primarily with astrology, and the Antichrist, which is it's a phenomenal book. It's mind blowing, actually. So
yeah. So where are we?
I think me, right?
Go.
Okay. So let me show. While we're talking about Carl Gustav Jung, this was a channel takeover. Feel free to take over my channel. Jamie? I don't know why it would be. Why you're being shy without that? I assumed that you would have already taken over my channel.
We're being respectful.
If Mendy was here, sweet. She would have already taken over the channel. She would have been like, all right, shut up. Listen, no, I was kidding. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you snort, Jamie?
Yeah.
He always does.
Yeah.
He always does. No, I love, like, actually the fact that you are somebody who, like, helped me with the comments and guide me in the right direction, because, lives can be very a lot going on for me, sometimes. Yeah. So this deck is about very much what we were just talking about, which was Carl Jung, and it's the Gnostic Tarot. And this was gifted to me by my amazing sister, Mendy, because she just didn't like it. It was, I don't know if she didn't like it, but it wasn't, Mendy's very selective.
Him. No.
Oh, yeah.
Him. No. Him.
Exactly. But
I don't have that deck.
I know you gave me this one for my birthday, and I came right at the same time, and I kind of put them together in my brain. It's one you need.
Yeah.
And what's the name of that?
It's called the Gnostic Tarot. Let me show you
Oh.
some images first before you make up your mind, because this isn't for one. It's got like what would you say that's a door, or I mean, it looks like a door to me, but there's no doorknob.
It's the back of
so-
a painting.
Yeah, is it a back of a painting? Oh yeah.
Absolutely, a
Oh,
back of a
true.
painting.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the
Yeah.
Impressionist tarot. The backs are the back of the canvas.
That makes so much sense because they are paintings. So, and the book that comes with this it's very, very kind of busy and deep, but the book is phenomenal. And so basically, the first thing I noticed about this tarot was there's no author mentioned on the cover or anywhere, in the book. Even in the beginning, the first part of the book, it's just there's nothing, no author's name, but I found out who it was. It was a person who created the Beatles tarot. Did this? I forget the person's name, but the agreement was that he didn't want his name mentioned because the painter, and that's how he's referred to in the book.
Is the painter?
Yeah, the painter is a friend of his. So he grew up, working in this bookstore, and he met this older gentleman who was a painter, and they loved talking about Gnosticism and Jung and things like that. And so they had this really long friendship, and he was sort of like a mentor, and they traveled all over Europe together. And his life's work was this deck, the Gnostic tarot.
Gerald, you'll love the book. The book
It's phenomenal. It's great. Yep. And basically that's it. And so he died, the painter.
The painter, yeah.
And he left all the images to the young man who published it. And the agreement was that he didn't want to name the painter. He's to stay anonymous. And of course, he's not going to put his name on it either, because then it's just going to be weird, and he's taking credit for something that's not his. Yeah, it is. It's a very interesting deck. So, and it feels lovely. The book is great, and I'm going to really spend a lot more time with this deck.
It looks like a sizable book.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the images are inside, and yeah.
Yeah. Full color images. It's a great book, and actually, the day I got it, Mendy had sent it to me, and I almost forgot about it. I got it in the mail. The day I got it, I sat down just to look at the book, and I read for 2 hours because the story is very inspiring. It's a it's a
I got it
beautiful
because
story.
of Justin. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just it really
I have it written down to
me.
look into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, this deck, I haven't really messed with it. I have a bag for it too, but it is gonna be a tough one.
Well, the simplicity.
And this is the Red Rose edition, and
oh, look at that.
And what you can't see are the stars and moons and stuff in
wow,
the edging. Super pretty. Those are the backs. But very, very Rider Waite, but also super duper pretty.
Wow.
This is just compared to the last few decks the three of us have looked at, this one's a real light one. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's but not to say that it doesn't have depth. It's just different,
Sometimes really you want it like that, though. Sometimes you want something light.
Yeah. I just really like the colors in this.
It's a lot of white space on those cards.
There is. There definitely is.
Yeah, it reminds me of there's a Rider-Waite-Smith clone that I got from the same people who made. Oh gosh, I'll never remember the publisher, but they made the medieval Europe tarot.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's the
Henry.
publisher of that?
That it's the publisher. Well, it's an
or the
indie.
creator. It's an indie. Okay.
Yeah, it's Emily Muniz Tarot.
Okay.
I got it off of Etsy.
Okay.
This is not the edition, the original edition that I wanted. She's not redoing, but she did put this one out. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the box is pretty damn phenomenal, actually. It's not an intuitive box because I think that it should actually open on this side, and it doesn't. It opens on the opposite side.
Oh,
really cool.
But it's really pretty.
It's like they put everything together upside down, but
yeah.
So apparently Jen has said that I will have the Gnostic Tarot ordered by the end of the day. So
I almost want to say yeah, because it's kind of like that Journey Oracle, that Thoth deck that we the group of us have. It's deep like that. It's one that you're not going to just lay down and read. In my personal opinion, at least, I would think that there would be a little bit of study done. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. It's funny. I didn't get that deck, and I don't know if I'm going to get that deck. I think I've passed on it. I have still kind of deciding, but I just don't know. The price tag is high. I love the art, but it's just like I'm trying to behave right now. So
okay, just look at this face.
Yeah, I know. You're gonna tell me to get it. You're not helping me, Jamie.
Sorry.
And neither are you, Gerald.
It's amazing.
Fine, I'll buy it right now. No. It's like Justin bought in the middle of his live.
Yeah. Please hold while Justin, buys the Thoth Journey.
I'm sure I've done that before, probably.
Yeah.
So I don't even know how many decks have we shown. Well, obviously, oh, cool, look, and Gerald has it. I don't know how
this is one
what
that
number
I got
we're
in the
on,
spring. So, and there was a question:
show a
is
few
the
cards.
Thoth Journey sold out? And Neem said the shipping was a lot, and it looks like Neem said it's almost sold out. But come on, I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wonder if they'll do another second edition.
I mean, and the images are in color, and that's a good quality.
Yeah, I don't own any Irish decks either. Like I own a few. That was completely incorrect. I do own some Irish decks, but there aren't many decks from Ireland other than Baba Studios and.
So here's the back. And then here are the images. And while it's not a tarot deck, right, Jamie? It's an oracle deck, but it's not a huge leap from oracle to tarot in this case.
Yeah.
I mean, if your sister were here, Justin, Mindy might be saying, Justin, why don't you have that yet? So
I know. Well, she's been bragging about that deck for months, actually, or since she got it. I don't know about months, but it's been weeks at least.
You can still get it if you hurry up.
Yeah. So I know.
And it's a nice matte gold. The deck quality is fine. They're not the thickest cards. But the images are, it is
but
enough.
It shuffles like an MFer, man.
Yeah. See, it looks like good quality though. I don't think thickness has very much to do with quality at all. Actually, some thin. Yeah. It's exactly. No, but it's like there's really good quality thin cardstock that's really good quality and feels great.
Yeah.
It slides well. Robin will agree with me on that.
I agree.
Robin loves his thin cards.
So, and it's going to be one of those that when you sit down, it's going to be easy to step into the card.
Yeah.
So this is one that I'm looking forward to getting started with using. So, and
well, could you hit that last one? Could you show that once again, one more time?
This one?
Yeah. Wow. That's intense.
Yeah. So
cool.
So I think it's and when you look at multiple cards all at once, they're how do I say this so it sounds, they're individual images. They don't necessarily need to relate to each other in the suit per se, but they work. So anyhow,
and L just came into L Deshane. Hello, thank you for joining us.
Path Journey Oracle. Oh.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to do some more soul searching on that.
And it is pricey to ship, but
yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's what Neil was talking about. So
$26 or something shipping.
If I had to choose for you, sir, I would say take that money that you would spend on that deck and put it in a jar for the red book.
I know.
That's what
it's just like there's so many beautiful decks, and it's every week there's another one coming. I'm like, okay, at some point I have to be like, because I have a lot of beautiful decks, and I think I just in a period right now where, and I fluctuate, but right now I just kind of putting the brakes on for a while. You know what I mean? Because I need to cull my collection and get rid of some things that I have that I'm not using and make space and use my money wisely. So.
Gotcha.
Well,
and I have plenty of tarot decks, so that there's no shortage of decks around here.
Yeah.
So,
Jen said, "Soul search quickly, Justin."
I know.
And Nancy she's teetering on the edge of this one. So
I know. It's just the price of it. If it was like $50, I'd be like, okay, I'll get it. But it's like, I don't know, like $120 or something. I'm like, okay, I don't know if that's. So speaking of Oracle decks, do you guys have any other Oracles handy that you got in the springtime that you're kind of excited about? No,
I do. I have 3.
Mine are.
I'm going to show one. I'm going to show an Oracle deck because this was one that. So Amy from Mystic Rose Tarot showed me this. Now I have the one by Yasmin Blonde, which is the Moonology Oracle. And but this is I was just showing Chris because we're doing an event tomorrow night for the full moon, of course, and just check Barely Balanced Tarot for that information. It's at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time, and it's going to be really nice because Chris has worked out a nice overreacher. Yeah,
that was Nancy. Nancy called me an overachiever because I had 3 more Oracle decks out, and okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. And of course, tomorrow's a very big full moon. It's a lunar eclipse. This book was pointed out to me by Amy from Mystic Rose, and I just really love it. It's great for working with the moon. It's 72 cards, I think. Lots of cards in here, and it has some archetype cards, Sleeper, Guru. Let's see, Prisoner. And so then we have the goddess part, like the moon goddess. Let's see here. Yeah, it's just, so Freya.
Yeah, I think I got that because Candy from Candy Soul and Soil was using it to do her new moon readings, and it blew my mind at how powerful it was. And I did one. It was like, wow, it's really potent.
Yeah, and then Phases of the Moon too, So
yeah.
So I'm going to use this tomorrow night, at least as a significator. I was watching Amy last night, and she was telling me what cards to pull, and it was very interesting. So I may use this in some capacity tomorrow night. I don't know, exactly why. And the book, of course, is great too. And it has a how do you pronounce it? Ephemera or ephemera till 2031. It has the moon calendar.
I can only say that word because I'm not having to say it. If I have to say it, I can't say it.
Exactly. Yeah, actually, it's 2032. So it's something I'm really, really excited about, and I had it last night. I was trying to get familiar with it, but I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh,
so yeah, do you want to show another deck, Jamie, or do you want to?
Well, I have 2 left.
Okay, cool.
And I don't have to show. So this was my birthday present from someone. I don't know who.
I don't know who either. who would ever do that?
Yeah, who would send you a mustache? That's so strange.
Whatever. Yeah.
But this is the Handel Tarot. These are the backs.
Yeah.
And then, yep.
Such a historic deck.
It's just beautiful. Oh, sorry. I'm kidding. I'm not sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
Hold up the sign, Gerald. Not sorry.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
This is a pretty one.
Yeah. And is this the one you gave me a hard time about on the VR to terror at the movies, Jamie?
Yes.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the deck you were giving me a hard time about. It was the movie.
It was the movie that went with it.
Yes.
Because it made no sense. Yeah, Sue. So also there is an extra card because I wanted to edge it. Do not edge this one. This is a color sucker. So
really? Okay.
Interesting.
It is a color sucker. So yeah, edging it, I might, or not edging, trimming it, I might have to, but now that you've said that, I won't.
What is the extra card in there? I can't remember offhand. Do you know offhand? It's not the tree, is it? Is his tree?
I think it is. I'm trying to find it.
Because I'm looking for a poster of his tree. Because I'm reading Rachel's book.
Yeah.
She did the book for the tarot.
Right.
Yeah, she did.
I have them both.
She did them both.
Yeah, 2 volumes. Exactly. But he came back to ask her to do a book on the Tree of Life that he painted.
Yeah. And I'm not finding the card, which of course I wouldn't, but there are 2 blanks.
Right. I'll look. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, Elle, I did get the books. I only got the books because Gerald said something about them, and I was like, oh, well, I definitely want to know more,
Yeah.
And of course, then you put Rachel's name on it, and it's like, oh, well, okay, no brainer.
Yeah, I have volume 1. I don't have volume 2, and I have to get volume 2.
Yeah.
Did you, Justin, do you know Rachel Pollack at all?
Oh, no, not at all.
No.
No, she's great, Rachel. Are you kidding me?
Not well enough to get a reading from her, or
not well enough to get a reading.
She's one of my favorite people in the whole world.
With her,
No, it's not.
I'm not jealous at all, Justin.
She's just wonderful, and she's so generous with her time, and she's delightful. A kind person. And Zoe too, her housemate, they're awesome. They're very good people.
Which is one of the reasons. I mean, she appears to be as genuine as I expect her to be in reading her books.
Yeah.
And it's like there's not a difference between the person and the author. It's like wow. So
she's not a persona,
and she's not at all like there's nothing about her that is snooty or condescending or intimidating or threatening. I mean, it's like, she is just a good person inside and out, and just really kind.
That's neat.
Yeah. So I think, Justin, you were asking me if I've read with us yet the Archeo, the Nick Bantock.
Yes. Yeah, that's something that
I have not read with it, but I showed this during my. I'll show you mine with Jilly, because it sort of looks like me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you
Made me
add a
funny.
mustache to it in your thing?
I
Mhm.
did.
you
I added a mustache. I do that in
Okay.
my flip throughs on Tarot Stash, where that's the way people know it's me.
Well, I actually thought that you I thought that it actually came like that. So when you were like, like explaining why you love that deck, I was like, well, I wonder why, because you're on the cover of it.
You mean like that, So,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
one that's Tarot
It
Stash.
looks great like that, actually.
It does actually, but yeah, everybody, a little bit of a gimmick, but I enjoy this deck and the images and this, this references Francis Bacon and his. I actually saw this painting in person in Chicago. So
So who is Francis Bacon again? Tell us who, if you don't mind.
He's a painter who
Mhm.
he does he does oil paintings, and they're a bit odd in the sense that you would get multiple layers of somebody's face. You know
Mhm.
how like Picasso, one of the things that Picasso did was he was trying to give all angles of the face at the same time. And
Okay.
so Francis Bacon could also do that. But they were more movement to them. And yeah, I had a mustache to me too. Yeah. So, and I like Nick
Thank you, El.
Bantock. You did do a great interview with Rachel. You've done 2 great interviews with Rachel.
Well,
So,
I mean, she is a very easy person to talk to. So
yeah.
she did
And
all the work, really.
well, but so these also reference images that you may have seen in other cultural images, because this one I've seen. This reminds me of a photograph I've seen, and so and
Yeah, it's really cool.
you
And so
know,
it's
and
all archetypes, right? So it's
it is all archetypes.
okay.
So your personal archetype, archetype cards, and they're not all they're collagey sort of feel to them, so they're lovely.
Yeah. But I love
So,
archetype decks. I think they're really useful. And I think that studying the archetypes are, at least for me personally, Mendy's probably having nervous ticks right now because she's not big on archetypes. Although she may be coming back to archetypes. I don't know. You'll have to let us know, Mendy, about that. But
Gerald, did you know that he liked archetypes? Did you know that?
Justin, do you like archetypes?
Yeah. Well, the thing about archetypes is important for me, for tarot, because
yeah.
I feel like that's what the major arcana are. They're archetypes.
Wait a minute. Archetypes are part of the tarot?
Exactly.
Next, you're going to say something about, next thing you're going to say something crazy like Jung didn't do anything with tarot. He was just too busy with archetypes, right?
Right. He was in search of the archetypes. That's correct.
Yeah.
He was looking for them.
It does come with a very nice book, which actually has color images to it. So,
Justin, you do know that I love you, right?
I know. Okay. I know. You also love to tease me, and so does Gerald, but that's okay. I'll cry myself to sleep tonight.
Oh, God.
Like,
oh, geez. Rocking back and forth in the fetal position.
Like this.
Yeah.
Which archetype is that, Justin?
It's called the big baby archetype.
The big weenie.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, my gosh. That's funny. Awful.
Francis Bacon, very famous artist. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and his stuff, and also Francis Bacon. There was a movie that was Francis Bacon was a little odd.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so he was. I wouldn't necessarily call him a tormented artist, but he did have a particular bend. So.
They sure are, Sue. They sure are.
Look at Alex. Alex is laughing at me.
L7 weenie. Oh, man, that's brutal. Did you back the Hero Rise Masculine Archetype deck? I've never even heard of it. meme. So we'll have to look into that. That one is on my list, the one that Gerald just showed, and I wouldn't mind putting another one on my list either, because again, the archetypes, love them.
Did you see Mr. Chris's comment?
Wait, who's asking about my ghost?
Justin, he said Justin's ghost will rock him to sleep.
Oh, okay. I thought you saw something.
No, above that, yeah, right above that one.
Yeah. No, I mean, I thought that Sue might have saw something in the back.
Oh,
something weird happening. We have some weird. No, we have some weird goings on around her. Like they, I see stuff occasionally, but nothing like too scary. Just my house shakes a little bit, and I see shadow figures. Doors push open, things like that. It's been happening for years, actually, since we moved in here. So, and I'm very much a skeptic. I'm not like somebody who is a believer in anything. But there's been some strange things happen here. But it's not a harmful entity. It's nothing that wants to hurt me or anything like that. But this house has a lot of history. It was a funeral home. And in fact, we're still connected to the funeral home, and the funeral processions go up my driveway. And it was built in the 1870s, I think this house was. It's on the historic register and all. And so, yeah, we have just some weird things that happen.
Yeah.
I mean, here's an image of, something that Francis Bacon did.
Okay.
So
yeah, I've seen that image before.
And this is another one that comes up. So
yeah,
he's very very specific. So
cool. You have to look into him. I've heard the name. I was thinking like Bacon. I was like, Bacon's Rebellion? No, not that Bacon.
No,
I was like, I've heard the name Bacon.
Do you want me to show my last deck?
Could just be Could just be
Look,
that I am
keeping us on task.
No, that's good. You have to with me.
You want me to show, or you want to go?
No, you can go. Go ahead.
Okay,
that's fine. Yeah.
So this deck, I'm a little disappointed in, but just because the imagery I thought would be sharper. But this was a gift from Chris Kelly, and it's the Lighthouse Tarot. So we used this in Sit With Me. These are the backs. Super pretty. But so it's all kinds of sea related, right?
Yeah.
And it's been, photo manipulated and stuff. But I had the expectation that they would be sharper.
Me too.
And not as mottled, I guess. Mottled. Yeah. So I was actually kind of bummed. But again, it's one of those things, I will never, ever get rid of it because it was a gift from Chris, right?
Same here.
Yeah. And it came with a beautiful letter and everything. So it will never leave. But they had such an opportunity, right?
Yeah. I agree.
Such an opportunity. So, yeah. Anyway.
You know what's funny about that though, because I got also the same deck, and I was like kind of like, not really happy with it, but I found myself reading with it for weeks. I was just reading with it, so I was using it a lot, even though it wasn't like it was something I was slightly disappointed in. But again, because of who somebody gifted it to me, I'm very grateful, and I'll keep it forever. So,
yeah, I mean, this is one of the hokiest damn cards ever. For me.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah,
it reminds me of the Tower of the Saints, not Tower of the Saints, the Holy Card Tarot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, in that the resolution was off a little bit.
Yeah, it's just poopy, but I'll never get rid of it, and I'm very thankful for it. So
very true.
Don't think I'm not thankful, because I very much so am.
Me too.
So,
Gerald, do you have a final deck to show? And then I'll show my final, I guess.
Sure. I have the Weaver's Oracle that I have received. And this is one that is it comes with, here's an intriguing thing. It comes with a journey cards and travel guide. So it's a spiral bound, so I love that. So it can lay flat, comes in a nice little bag. And the cards, I like the backs of the cards.
Mhm.
And then then you have different images, and so I'm looking forward to expanding my understanding and appreciation for I would say ancestor work and ancestor appreciation.
Yeah.
And what I have to remember is it's a journey, not necessarily a destination, because when I get something like this, I'm like going, well, I have to consume it all right now.
Right.
And I don't. So yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. I was trying to
So, yeah.
determine on what I wanted to show last, but I think this is the one I'm going to show. So this isn't obviously a new deck, but it's brand new to me. I got it this week actually, and it's the first deck I bought in a while. I haven't really bought
That's
much lately.
Huge.
Yeah, this is the Carry Yell Visconti.
Mackerel.
So this, let me just give you an idea here. So this the Tildwick.
Yeah, well, you can tell by your hands. You don't have tiny little boy hands. You have man hands.
Well, the reason that they're so big is because the originals, the Visconti Sforza and the Visconti di Madrone, were huge. They were. This is actual size. So this is Stuart Kaplan, U.S. Games. Beautiful box, like sturdy and just such a lovely presentation, and really nice book. With a lot of information. I still have to read the rest of it. I've read some of it. And I'm not sure who painted this, I think it was Bembo. I think this was, Bonifacio Bembo. And he just, did it for the Visconti family. And this is an older one. I think this is also known as the Visconti di Madrone.
Yeah, I want this deck.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And, Stuart Kaplan was one of the first tarot historians to really study the early Italian decks, and of course hanging out with Cheryl Smith and Marco Benedetti. They've got me interested in these older decks, and I have the Charles VI here too. But now the older decks I'm told were 1.5 millimeters thick, so that would have made this actually like that. Yeah, they were originally very, very thick. So, but it's just a beautiful deck. And they, of course, were real gold foil and hand painted.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
This is rich people tarot from the 15th century. Yeah, it was a trophy. It was like having an S550 Mercedes, It was like,
Unless you live in Germany, and then that's your taxi. So,
Yeah. Exactly.
That is a very specific reference, Justin. Unless it's that, such and such Mercedes.
S550 Mercedes, that's a $200,000 vehicle. Well, they start at like 150, I think. But it's a status symbol. It's you can do better with I think Volvo's a better car, actually, honestly. I don't even like Mercedes. They're boats. Big cars. I used to drive one every day at work. I was a chauffeur for a while. In a place called Liberty Place, Residences at 2 Liberty. And we had professional athletes, like for instance, Bon Jovi owned the place there at one time, and we had like a lot of the Phillies. Joel Embiid lives there.
Wow.
So there's a lot of people who, but anyway.
Will you show me the box again?
Yes.
Please. Yeah.
It's beautiful. And Stuart Kaplan is part of his whole historical thing. Let me show you some of the pips because they're really pretty. Okay, some of them are dark, you can see that really well. It's an important historical deck, and
Yeah.
and actually there's some extra cards in here. I want to say it's like, see, 86 cards. Yeah. I want to do a walkthrough or a comparison of this and the Visconti Sforza.
So yeah, that'd be neat.
And just to kind of show the difference. But I know this one's older than the Visconti Sforza. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I'm going to be rude and bold. This has been fabulous. So much.
Dale.
All thank you, Hen. Appreciate that. And yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. I especially thank you guys for doing this. And I appreciate you coming on and share your decks with me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a lovely evening. So
It's been wonderful. Thank you for asking.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everyone. Well, everybody enjoy their evening. And until next time, love and peace, everybody.
Bye.
And you guys hang out for a sec.